Hi everybody! It's Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day. I'm super excited because we are in the second of our series of spooky season decks. And I have the most lovely deck today to show you. It's so freaking beautiful that I just can't. So I'm gonna try and be like cool and vampiric like our deck today, which is Les Vampires, which is the most gorgeous deck by one of my favorite like oracle card teams, I guess. I have quite a few. Hi, hey Leah. I have quite a few of these decks by these two authors, Lucy Cavendish, who writes the book, and of course the incomparable Jasmine Beckett-Griffith, who is one of my favorite figural artists. It's like perfect for me because I was a teenager in the 90s, Lisa Frank everything, and also like the kind of like Disney princess-esque aesthetic kind of happening with like the big heads and the giant eyes and the teeny tiny mouth, but instead of like looking like weird aliens, they just look fierce. Like they are bringing all of the Lisa Frank Elder Goth glory to my my beautiful Lisa Frank Elder Goth heart, I guess. So I put on a little lipstick to be festive today. So let's take a look at our gorgeous deck. So this is Les Vampires, which is their deck that is dedicated to all things vampire. And we have a beautiful, gorgeous book, but the book is not in color, just so that you all know. As pretty as it is a black and white experience in here. But the cards are incredible. The cards are a little bit smaller than the box, which is good because the box is pretty big. For me, it's a little bit of a stretch with my hand span for how large the cards are. But they're so pretty. They're just so pretty. The back is this gorgeous sepia thing that I am just obsessed with. I love sepia tones. And of course, one of my favorite aesthetics in the whole wide world, which is blurred eyeliner. If you give me blurred eyeliner, like I'm there. I'm there. When I saw Lisa Frankenstein, for those of you who like, if you haven't seen it, please see it. It's a great October watch, by the way. Lisa Frankenstein takes place in the 80s and she has like this cobalt blue liner that she wears to a party, but then the party goes bad and she's like crying all night. And there's this beautiful shot of her eyes with the eyeliner like all smeared in the cobalt blue. Like talk about Lisa Frank Elder Gothing. Just, I can't. So let's take a look. Jasmine Beckett-Griffith is, I think I read about her first in Fairy magazine, also known as Enchanted Living magazine. And just her art is so good. Some beautiful references here. Like here's Michelangelo's Pietà, right? For those of you, and I didn't even know this was going to come up. For those of you who are like, you know, maybe because of Michelangelo's Pietà, I got in a little bit of trouble with the Vatican police because it's like you travel all the way across the world to see a statue and then you're gonna block it off because the freaking Pope needs to enter. But after he's gone, there's no danger. So why can't I just pop my little head in there and look at the statue? I was being an entitled tourist maybe, but also like I'm an art historian. So look at that. Like, look at that. How gorgeous is this woman right here? Like, I can't. I want to look like this all the time, every day. And I'm sad that I don't. I want to look like this all the time, every day. How beautiful would the world be if we could just do that? I think we need to do more of it, right? So this deck is dedicated to shadows. So the reason why it's called Les Vampires and it features vampires is because this is another one of those decks. Oh, that one's a little sad. that is sort of made to examine the shadow self, our shadows, the darkness. And the theory of this deck is actually really interesting. I was reading the book yesterday, and it's like there's this bodhisattva energy that the authors are kind of wanting to bring into vampires. Like, they make a lot of universal affirmative statements, like a lot of blanket statements about vampires really being benevolent. But like, vampires are like everything, I guess, where you're going to have just a range. There's going to be your bad eggs and your good eggs and everything in between. So, but the theory of this deck seems to center around, that's an interesting one, seems to center around this idea of vampires being benevolent, because many of them, and this is something I've never thought about, but many of them, they're turned into immortals against their will, right? And so also, because they're immortal, they've been through so much and they've seen so much of humanity that there's a lot that they can understand. The theory is that, like, after centuries and centuries, they learned, ooh, that's the title card. They learn how to control their thirst and work with their shadows and turn their shadows into an ally. And so that this is something that they can do to help what the authors call the innocents, the mortals like you and me, who don't know what this kind of dirty underbelly is like. Yeah, right? Like, they don't know what this kind of dirty underbelly is like. And so they're here to help us through navigating the shadow realm. And so I think that that's actually theoretically very beautiful. I'm all for the idea of the benevolent vampire. You know, like, I'm the person who wanted to marry, like, the Phantom of the Opera in Frankenstein, you know, because they were just troubled and it wasn't their fault what happened to them, you know, so I'm pretty sure that I've also had, like, a vampire or two on my marriage list. Ooh, look at that witness. Who hasn't, though, right? Who hasn't had a vampire or two on their marriage list? So there's a selection. Oh, one more, because this is just so beautiful. So here's just a selection of some of the artwork. So yeah, this one definitely a buy for me if you are into Jasmine Beckett-Griffith or Lucy Cavendish, or you're just into the idea of vampires. But if you're in the market for a good shadow deck, something that's going to help you navigate the hard parts very gently and safely, because the authors talk a lot about exercising discernment and safety when working with these energies, then yeah, this is just, it's a beautiful deck. They have quite a few. You'll be seeing some. I have a gorgeous Alice in Wonderland deck by them. There's a Halloween deck that is, it seems new, and I saw it literally just a couple days ago at the Renaissance Festival, and I almost bought it, but I had already bought so much beautiful pottery there. So let's go ahead and shuffle, and let's pull a card for Halia. And oh, I don't know who the second person is. But for whoever's watching and whoever's going to watch, let's pull, ooh, a card. This one is saying yes. And this is two stuck together, so let's just go with it. We have her last day in the light and burnt by the sun. So it's her last day in the light. It says unexpected endings, surprise changes, and sudden shifts. And burnt by the sun, ambition, extension, reach. I've been getting some interesting messages from this deck. I feel like something's going to be changing soon. And I don't know if that's good or bad. But that there's going to be, like, something really major, like, in the wind, a major shift in the wind. Just kind of in general, just when I was shuffling before, there were some interesting cards coming out. But it's a shadow deck, right? So let's not put too much into anything here. So her last day in the light, I'm thinking about, like, the human, the person who, hi Rebecca, I'm thinking about the person who is on the precipice, on the cusp, of something new, of there was a this time in my life and now there is a this time in my life. And I feel like either individually or collectively, we are approaching the boundary from one epoch into another epoch. But remembering the theory of this deck, that what this boundary brings for the vampire, even if they were put over that boundary against their will, just because of the course of events, that there is agency, right, as we continue on, because the theory of this deck is about vampires who've learned to control that hunger and that thirst and the anger and the jealousy, and they want to, oh, thank you, I put on lipstick, and they're like, it all winds up being for their highest good, whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not. They were brought into this new space, and it winds up oddly working for their highest good. And so pairing this with Burnt by the Sun, ambition, extension, reach. This is someone who took things a little too far, right? Like I'm thinking, when I think Burnt by the Sun, I'm thinking like Icarus, right? That's the one with like, he made the wax wings and then he flew too close to the sun and they melted and then he dropped, right? The fact is though, is that she seems no worse for the wear. Oddly and interesting enough, she just seems a little tired, right? Like ambition, extension, reach, 28. There's a wolf with her. I'm just feeling like this is a take care of yourself on the, like, as you're going through this kind of a card. Remembering that things like ambition, overextending yourself, right? Reaching for the sun, right? Is the kind of thing that's going to, it's going to tucker you out, right? It's a very slow burn, or it's a very quick burning fuel. Things like anger, rage, ambition, like when we're getting on that side of things, these are very quick burning fuels. So it's like, take the time to rest, relax, don't overreach, don't try and take on more than you can, because this transition here, right, is something that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot out of us. And so I just feel like this message is all about watching where you're putting your energy, taking care of all of your spoons because of this major event that's going to be really taxing your heart and your energy and your presence, right? Try and rest so that you can come back into presence. Don't fly too close to the sun. And if you do, enjoy that moment, but expect a drop. All right. This was lovely. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that I had a couple of friends here today. Yay. I super duper appreciate everybody who stays with me till the end of these videos. Yay. And for those who watch later, thank you so much for engaging. I appreciate it. It just gives me a little kick and a little thrill to see like somebody did a little heart, or somebody said something, or they watched it and they were paying attention, because I love my decks so much and I love sharing them with you all. So replays of this can also be found on YouTube, because I'm just basically archiving these on a YouTube channel because Facebook doesn't. So if you're interested in looking back, you can find my YouTube channel, which is linked to my Instagram bio. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Mwah! Have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.